Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. But for our radio audience here in Mississippi at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com, we're glad that you all could be with us. Also, tuning into our friends at iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Podcast, we're glad you all could be with us as well. Well, it is that time of year that not only people are getting out and about, but also they're thinking about relationships as well. According to a recent survey from Bumble, the women first dating app, more than one-third of respondents in the U.S. said they're open to exploring a relationship with someone who lives in another city. With the summer of travel underway, as well as, of course, the prices that come along with it, this could still be the time for you to be able to do a little summer romance while you are now planning your trips as well. Joining us today to discuss the survey from Bumble and much more, we're excited to welcome Relationship Expert at Bumble, Shan Boodram, to our program. Shan, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. What a great intro.
Well, Shan, this is an interesting topic because it is one of those things. I was actually having a conversation with a friend of mine recently, and she was talking about traveling, and she actually brought up the fact, who knows, I might actually meet someone. So travel is expected to be at an all-time high, even with everything else going on. What tips do you have, Shan, for someone who may be looking for a date while they're traveling?
I think your friend has the right idea. First and foremost, be clear about the fact that you are open, that you are looking. I think it's really important to have that conversation with yourself. There's nothing wrong. Bumble has a beautiful word that was created out of the pandemic of people being consciously single. So don't feel the pressure during wedding season or dating or travel season to meet someone. You might just be interested in engaging with yourself and finding cool people, but not for romantic reasons. But if you are, be intentional about that and try your best to align yourself with the possibility of that happening. So Bumble actually has a feature called travel mode. So what you can do is before you go to a city, you can set the city that you're swiping into that. That way you can actually start making connections before you even land. I think that's essential for ensuring that you do have the kind of summer that you are looking for.
I love that tip, and that goes to another point then, Shan, when it comes to Bumble, as well as I think for all of us in general that are online these days, and that is our profile. Do you have any tips for our audience when it comes to making the most of their dating profiles? 100%.
I mean, as much as we've had these conversations for 10 years now, there's still going to be a person who has a picture of them in the class of 2014 as their main photo. We need to see you, and it's got to be you up front and center. I actually think that we've learned best practices for pictures through videos, through the pandemic, because we were all on Zoom, or many of us had to work from home and, go through that. We were like, okay, we don't need distracting backgrounds. We got to find the right angle. Good lighting is essential, and making sure that we are the center frame, that we are front and center of the picture is really important. So your first photo should be reflective of a really good Zoom call. And then after that, show off who you are. It's an outside-in approach. So you draw people in with your smile, with your engaging, the light in your eyes, and then you keep them there through interest badges, or you keep them there through showing off your interests. I mean, dating apps today have done an incredible job of redesigning things to ensure that in the fast amount of time, people get to know what's most important to you.
Love that. Great tip. Well, as we are traveling, especially if it is to a new place, Shan, the other thing we need to think about is what we should know when it comes to meeting someone new, and especially in person. So what advice do you have for our audience in that area?
First and foremost, put yourself first. I think it's really important, especially when I was on dating apps. I used to do this. I used to think about what's going to allow me to be the most relaxed and comfortable. Usually that meant going somewhere that I didn't have to drive super far and going somewhere that I knew where the parking was. So I love about Bumble is a woman's first dating app. It's essentially saying, hey, put yourself in the driver's seat. And regardless of your gender, you should kind of take on that approach of, I want to make sure that I can be my best self, because that way I can be more attentive to the person I'm on a date with and thus be a better date for them. So be mindful of those things. Don't just be in the passenger seat letting someone else make all the choices. And that also is obviously very imperative when it comes to your safety.
Love that. Great tip. Shan, thank you so much for sharing some of the information, of course, from Bumble, but also some great tips for our audience. Where can they go for more information?
I think a really great place to go when you are like your friend and you know what you want out of this summer, download Bumble and start swiping. If you're not there yet, go to Bumble.com, start reading, learning more, doing your research, and then see where it feels good for you.
Shan, thank you so much again for the time and the information. Really appreciate it, and looking forward to having you back on again.
Thank you so much.
And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live, part of our News You Can Use segment here at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Now let's go make today amazing. Take care.